In this third session on applications of psychology to understanding organizations, I'd like to talk of MBTI and its application to understanding organizations. Traditionally, we have used MBTI only to understand the behavior of individuals. We give a test to an individual and start finding out what kind of a type he or she is. So we classify the person into these four pairs of dimensions. I would like to recommend that it is possible to understand an organization using the same MBTI framework, which again is based on Jungian, Carl Jung's theories. It is possible to rate an organization as an introverted organization or an extroverted organization. Introverted is always inward looking, shy, not talking much, not publicizing, doing work very quietly, and so on. So an introverted organization may have a large number of introverted people, whereas an extroverted organization is outgoing, talking a lot more, and publicity oriented. They may do a little work, but they are all the time eager to publicize and talk about it and things like that. Similarly, you can also classify an organization as a sensing organization versus an intuitive organization. A sensing organization essentially depends upon its own data, facts, figures, and is sensitive to, I think, whatever are the internal kind of information that it generates. Whereas an intuitive organization is not merely looking at facts here and now, but looking at possibilities and thinks very intuitively about it. Similarly, on the third dimension of the MBTI types, we can apply the same analogy to organizations and call them as perceiving organizations versus judging organizations. Perceiving organizations are the ones who are a little more softer, whereas judging organizations are the ones which would like to be fact-based, classifying, and are uncomfortable without coming to conclusions fast, whereas perceiving organizations again I think are pretty dynamic, liberal, and so on. Similarly, you can also classify them as a feeling organization versus a thinking organization. A thinking organization is rule bound, whereas a feeling organization is a human personality bound. They care more for people, whereas the thinking organization cares more for rules, regulations, and things of that nature. So it is possible to pick up these four dimensions of MBTI and classify these. And one way of doing it is you administer the test for a large number of top level people, heads of departments, profile it, and if the profiles suggest that they are all in one particular direction, then you can say the organization is likely to be. The MBTI theory says that if the teams has to work and organization has to succeed, there should be a mixture, there should be diversity, there should be heterogeneity and things like that. So you can use this, and besides using the MBTI test and asking individuals to give their preferences, it is possible to develop a set of indicators for organizations. I know of no one who has done this, but I think some of you who listen to this video may try to develop a tool to classify organizations using MBTI typology. Now, if some of you can come up with this tool, this will be a great contribution to our understanding of organizations and so on. I just wanted to share this idea. I am not going further on elaborating this. This just illustrates how psychology concepts can be used to understanding organizations.